Al-Mustafa continues his sermon and says like this, but if you in your pain call birth an affliction and the support of the flesh a curse written upon your brow, then I answer that not but the sweat of your brow shall wash away that which is written. But if you in your pain call birth an affliction, in your pain, see, you are suffering in your life, you face so many problems, difficulties, hardships, and you feel life is nothing but miserable, very painful, and in that pain, misery, you complain. ಆ ನೋವಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಬೇಜಾರು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸ್ತೀರಾ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್? ಬರ್ತ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನ್ ಅಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಷನ್. ಈ ಜೀವನನೇ ಒಂದು ಸಫರಿಂಗ್, ನೋವು. ಬರ್ತ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನ್ ಅಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಷನ್. ಅಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್. ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್. ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಿಸರಬಲ್. ದಿಸ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಕರ್ಸ್. ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಜನ್ಮನೇ ಬರೀ ನೋವು, ಇದೊಂದು ಶಾಪ. Why do we complain like that? Because in life we are suffering. It is very painful. We are facing so many difficulties, problems. Therefore, we complain like that. Physical body, ಈ ಶರೀರ ಇದೊಂದು ಶಾಪ. Why at all we were born? Why did we take birth? This is how we complain. We complain because of the misery, suffering in life. But Al-Mustafa has an answer to this complaint. He says, the support of the flesh, a curse written upon your brow, and you feel that this life is affliction, suffering, it's a curse. It is fate. It is fate, vidhi, hane baraha. That is called fate in English. What is fate? The meaning of fate. The events in a person's life controlled by a supernatural power. Events in a person's life controlled by a supernatural power. And these events are predetermined. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಘಟನೆಗಳು ಒಂದು ಸೂಪರ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಪವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಯಾವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ವಿಧಿ, ಹಣೆ ಬರಹ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಣೆ ಬರಹ. ಈ ಥರ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ದಟ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಸಫರ್, ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯ್ನ್, ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ರಿ. ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೇಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ಡ್. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಮೊದಲೇ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಈ ನೋವು ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೀಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ಡ್. ಮೊದಲೇ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಆಗೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಅಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಷನ್, this body a curse, or this is fate. ಏನು ಕಾರಣ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನೋವು ಅನುಭವಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೇಟ್, ವಿಧಿ. ಬಟ್ Al-Mustafa has an answer. As I told you, he has an answer to this complaint. He says, what can change your fate? Nothing but sweat. Nothing but sweat. Sweat here is hard work. So sweat is nothing but hard work. If you work hard, you can definitely make your life happy. If you work hard, you can definitely make your life satisfied. Only hard work can change the fate of a person. It can change. The sweat can erase what is written on the brow. ನೀವು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಬೆವರು ಸುರಿಸಿ ದುಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಣೆ ಬರಹ ಆ ಬೆವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕೊಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಕೊಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದ್ರೆ ಅಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿರೋಂಥ ಬರಹನ ಅಳಿಸೋ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕಿದೆ? ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಸೊ Al-Mustafa says, don't ever consider birth or this body as an affliction or a curse, or this suffering is a fate. But if you work hard, you can change your fate. You can change your fate. See, I will give you one example, a familiar person to you. She is Mrs. Sudha Murthy. She was not born with a silver spoon. ಅವರೇನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿನಿಂದ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರಾಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಹೂಡಿದ್ರು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? 10,000 ಅವರು ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಹೂಡಿದ್ದು. and today you know what history the company has created. She liked that job. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, one more thing about Mrs. Sudhamurthy, she is also into social service. She writes stories for children, she writes novels, she is into social service. All these things give her happiness. She considers this as her duty. ಯಾಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಥರ like anybody else, like any other rich person, she could have just enjoyed life, but she is into social service. That is her calling. ಅದು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಕೊಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ. That is why she is happy and satisfied. So life, we can change our life only by working hard. See, some people say life is darkness. And who complain that life is darkness? The people who are tired of life. They say life is darkness. They feel life is meaningless. Life is full of suffering, misery. And what answer does Al-Mustafa have to such people? He says, you have been told also life is darkness. Life is darkness. What is the meaning of life is darkness? This is despair. Despair means hopelessness. Hopelessness. Having no hope in life that good will happen, that we will be happy, that we will be satisfied. Having no such hope is called darkness, despair. ನಿರಾಶಾವಾದಿಗಳು ಇವರು. ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ನಿರಾಶೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಆಶಾವಾದ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆಪ್ಟಿಮಿಸಮ್, ನಿರಾಶಾವಾದ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪೆಸಿಮಿಸಮ್. Pessimist is one who always thinks that life is miserable. ನಿರಾಶಾವಾದಿಗಳು ಜೀವನ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕಷ್ಟ, ನೋವು, ಬೇಜಾರು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. So life is darkness. You are told, ಜನ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, you are told that life is darkness, that there is no hope, it is hopelessness. And you have been told life is darkness, and in your weariness you echo what was said by the weary. In your weariness, and you are also tired of life. ಸಾಕಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಜೀವನ. You are tired of life. And you too sometimes agree with these people who say life is darkness. Why do you agree with their view? Because you too are tired of life. Therefore you too feel, yes, what people say is right, that life is darkness, life is full of despair, life is hopelessness, pessimism. You become a pessimistic, rather you become a pessimist. You become a pessimist because you too have suffered in life. You too feel that life is miserable. You are tired of life. And who advise you that life is darkness? The people who are weary. Weary here again, people who are tired. So, people who are tired of life say that life is darkness, and you too agree with their view because you are also tired of life. You too have suffered in life. That is the view of some people about life. And what does Al-Mustafa say? What answer does he have? He says like this, and I say that life is indeed darkness save when there is urge. And all urge is blind save when there is knowledge. And all knowledge is vain save when there is work. And all work is empty save when there is love. Al-Mustafa has his own definition. When does life become darkness? See, he says, life is darkness without urge. See, these words, save when there is, save when there is, should be replaced by the word without. Save when there is. these words must be replaced by without. So he says like this, and I say that life is indeed darkness save when there is urge. You replace these words with without and read, it will sound like this, and I say that life is indeed darkness without urge. When does life become darkness? When there is no urge. Then what is the meaning of urge? Urge is strong desire, and this is not the desire that is understood in common parlance. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಜನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ರೀತಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಅಂದರೆ. ಆಸೆಗಳು, ನಾನು ಹಣ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಐಷಾರಾಮಿ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರ್ಜ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ರೋಲ್, ಯುವರ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ. In the previous session I told you that everybody is assigned with a role and you should have a strong desire to fulfill your duty. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ darkness. Yes, life is tired, hopeless when there is no such strong desire. And this strong desire is blind without knowledge. Strong desire is blind without knowledge. See, only if you have desire and you don't have knowledge of what to do and how to do your duty, then what is the use of having a strong desire? So you should know exactly how to carry out your duty. What's your duty? How to carry out your duty. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗೆ ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. So that is knowledge. And without such knowledge, your desire becomes blind, it becomes waste, it's of no use. And knowledge is useless without work. And you gain knowledge, but if you don't love your work or if you don't work for a good cause, then all the knowledge you have is useless. All the knowledge you have is useless if you are idle, lazy. Knowledge ಇದೆ, ಸೋಂಬೇರಿಗಳು, ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, then it is useless. What is the use of having knowledge when you don't put it into proper use? That becomes useless. And finally, work is empty without love. And you have knowledge and you work also. You work, but your work becomes empty. Empty means meaningless. When does your work become meaningless? It becomes meaningless when you don't love your work. ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ದಿರ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಆ ಕೆಲಸ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಲಸ, ಅದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಲೆಸ್, ಅರ್ಥಹೀನ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಅರ್ಥಹೀನ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂತೋಷ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್-ಮುಸ್ತಫಾಸ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಮಿಸಮ್. ಆಶಾವಾದ ಒಂದು Al-Mustafadu. So according to some people, life is darkness, that is hopelessness. There is no hope that people will be happy or they will be satisfied in life. And who complain that life is darkness? People who are tired, people who have suffered in life complain that life is darkness, life is hopelessness, life is suffering, life is misery. And when you also have experienced such misery and pain, you too agree with this view that life is darkness. However, Al-Mustafa has an answer to this complaint, and he says, yes, life is darkness. When is life darkness according to Al-Mustafa? Without urge, when there is no strong desire. Strong desire to realize, understand your duty and carry out your duty. And if you have a strong desire, that becomes blind. That is also of no use if there is no knowledge. Just building castles in the air. ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಗಾಳಿ ಗೋಪುರ ಕಟ್ಟೋದು, ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಗೋಪುರ ಕಟ್ಟೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ? ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗುರಿನ ತಲುಪಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಲೆಸ್. Now you have strong desire, you gain knowledge also. That knowledge is useless without work. If you don't use your knowledge in a proper manner, however much knowledge you possess, all that knowledge becomes useless. And finally, work is empty. Even you work with all your knowledge, you do some work. That work becomes meaningless if you don't like your work. That is why I gave the examples of some famous personalities. They liked those works and they involved in it, and therefore they could be happy and satisfied in life. That is why we should understand the meaning and importance of work. See, all these things Al-Mustafa discusses, and he tries to make the Ploughman understand the meaning and importance of work. And eventually, finally what happens when you love your work, then you can be happy with your fellow beings. You can live in harmony with your fellow beings. ನೀವು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲಿನ ಜನಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ಬೋದು? ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯದಿಂದ. ಹಾರ್ಮನಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯ. ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯದಿಂದ ಜೀವನನ ನಡೆಸ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಲಿವ್ ಇನ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಮನಿ ವಿತ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫೆಲೋ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್. Finally, eventually, when you work like that, it will take you closer to God. It will take you closer to God. See, work is worship. This is an adage in English language. Work is worship. ಕಾಯಕವೇ ಕೈಲಾಸ, ಬಸವಣ್ಣ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು. ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವರನ್ನು ಕಾಣಬೇಕು. ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವೇ ದೇವರು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. ಇದೇ ಬಸವಣ್ಣ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಬಸವಣ್ಣನವರ ವಚನಗಳನ್ನು ಓದಿದಾಗ ಆಲ್-ಮುಸ್ತಫಾ ಹೇಳಿರೋದು ಕೂಡ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್-ಮುಸ್ತಫಾ in detail explains all these things to the Ploughman who wanted to know what is the meaning of work and its importance.